been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
What's going on, guys? Tristan and Tony back with another episode of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor Podcast. We got an awesome guest today, Jahpoo Outdoors. Y'all may have seen him, but truly a revolutionary product in the decoy game. Carson Tharp, the owner of that company, we're excited to get him on in a little bit to learn about that whole story and just kind of talk about what the motivation was and all that great stuff. You probably saw it. There's a cool clip with Dr. Duck talking about it and just kind of talking about how much of a game changer it is. So we're going to get into that here in a little bit. But before we get into that, we got to talk about what the duck is going on. And of course, our other segment, listener question of the week, we're going to get into after the Carson interview. The Jahpoo Carson interview will answer the listener question of the week, and you get a koozie with that. Every time that we pick the person's question, we will be sending them a koozie. Like I said last time, it might be a hat or something cooler as this progresses, but let's get right into it, man. What the duck is going on? What's up, Dad?
What is going on, son? Happy to be here. You know, just like Grandpa used to say, you only got today. You only got today, and that's why we run One Hell of a Life Outdoors. Yep. Honestly, you know, just chasing that pursuit, that addiction, I guess you could call it. But no, everything's going great, man. I mean, it's hot as hell in Atlanta right now, as you know. All we think about is the fact that your dad sold his boat and we can't be on Lake Lanier.
No, I feel you there. I've thought about that several times. Oh man, that was a good time when we had that little deal, but I'm sure at some point in the future one of us will get a boat and we'll be back out there. But
yep.
So what I got for what the duck's going on today, I know from talking with you on off air, you got a good thing as well. Mine's probably not as good. It's kind of more funny than anything, but I saw on TikTok this week that Jay Cutler is under fire. Former NFL quarterback, Bears gunslinger. Jay Cutler is under fire because he shot. And I see he's got sick on, looking very handsome. Jay Cutler shot a sable antelope in South Africa. And, you know, everybody is just, you know, having an absolute fit about him shooting this badass antelope. And, you know, what I'll say about that is, like, if you've done it is weird when you see, like, an exotic get shot. But, like, from what, I don't know this exact example, but a lot of times when these exotic get shot, it's actually funding more care of the animals than, like, the poachers that would be attacking the animals. Yeah. So it's actually better that these, like, outfitters, like, take care of these animals over there. So shout out to Jay Cutler. I think it's pretty cool. I'm sure the meat's probably pretty solid too. And that's what I got for what the duck's going on.
Dude, who isn't on the Bigfoot vibe? Bro, come on. Like, even us
That's
older.
What it was, yes.
Yeah,
the AI Bigfoot, yeah.
AI Bigfoot, let me tell you something. It has been the entertainment of my soul since it started. And, bro, listen, there's so many good ones, and I'm not going to, like, go down one, tell you guys to go follow somebody specific, but, man, I've seen some good ones, Tristan.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to pull up the one. I made a few of them for Cade the other day, and I'm trying to find
what I love is that, you know, he's sitting there with a little lamb the other day, and he's like, oh, meet my friend. He needs me and all this stuff. And then the next clip shows, he goes, today we're having lamb chops. And he goes, and we're gonna have crusted lamb chops. He goes, we went throughout the woods and found some things we hope doesn't hurt us. And he's sitting there patting it on them.
All right, so I'm going to play. I figured out how to make these, and I made some for our buddy Cade Weatherford owns Delta Thunder Outfitters to promote his business. So I'm going to go ahead and play these live on the podcast. Let's see here.
I don't even got a license, but I'm smoking ducks out here at Delta Thunder. Book now, or I'm taking your spot, Bill. Call Cade.
All right. And, okay, wait. This is the one I did of his dog. This is not the ape.
I've fetched 37 ducks, 2 gloves, and 1 sandwich. Best season ever. Call my dad, Cade, and book your hunt.
All right, one more.
I just smoked 4 ducks and peed a little. Delta Thunder is nuts. Call Cade before I book your spot.
Oh, God, it's classic. I love that. Yeah, so, oh man, what a great trend.
No, dude,
shout out
it's
to AI,
so
man.
good. It's so good. It's so good. I'm trying to be more involved in trends and following them.
We know, old man.
No, I know. What I feel great about is whenever I tell you guys about a trend that you're not even aware of yet.
What's that?
Don't put me on spot. I have to do lots of research to get ahead of you guys. I mean, like when I do social media, I joke about this all the time. Like I try to get ahead. Like sometimes it's a competition, honestly, where I'm just like, dude, there's no way Tristan's going to see this before I do. And then I'll swear that you liked it 14 milliseconds before I did. Every time.
Yeah, we're just a little bit more plugged in, I guess. I don't know.
No, but we just had the All-Star game here in Atlanta.
I know, dude. Did you see Matt Olson freaking it was like basically they ended up going into overtime, I guess, and doing like this home run derby. The NL still won.
Yep.
But I think if I remember right, at the time the NL had 6. I wasn't even watching the game. I just saw this clip. I think the NL had 6 and the AL had 5. And it was right down the first baseline. He made this badass play to...
Wait a minute. I fell asleep when the AL was up, or NL was up 6-0.
What? Oh, yeah, no. It went into
AL
overtime.
came... What? Not overtime, extra innings.
No. Yeah. Extra innings, duh. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, no. Dude, I'll tell you one of the funniest things I saw associated with the All-Star game was, what's the mascot for the Braves? What's his name?
Hold on. It's not Blooper, is it? It's... Hold on.
Listen, this is funny, guys, if you haven't seen this yet.
I think it's Blooper. Yeah.
All right, Blooper. I guess, I didn't watch the home run derby, but I guess Olsen went out in the first round. And Blooper went into the puddle, the waterfall thing where the water is at Brave Stadium, where there's like that pool. He went into it and sat there depressed. Because he just didn't do nothing. He was over there cheering and everything. And then when that happened, he just went over and it just shows him sitting in the water, dude, like this. Completely depressed. And that's all he did. It was so funny. But
oh, man, I know. I wish Katie had the opportunity. My wife had the opportunity to go to, I think, the All-Star game last night with her work. And she was like, nah, I got a lot going on this week. And I was like, are you crazy? I'm like, we're not going to have the All-Star game for probably another 15 years, you know? So I don't know. Who knows if it'll be sooner than that. But it's not often that you get to host an All-Star game.
No. And now, this is definitely what the Duck has been going on. Wimbledon. Bro, let me tell you, I don't care if you like tennis or not. America is putting their foot down for tennis, bro. Women up until this last major have won 3 of the last 4 majors, and we had an American woman that took time off to find herself, came back in 1 year, and made the finals of Wimbledon, dude. Then you get the men's, and you have Yannick Sinner versus Alcaraz. Number 1, number 2. John McEnroe said that at the French Open, the finals was the best tennis match between those two he's ever seen in his entire career. Dude, these guys are talented. It's incredible. And if you love competition, man, follow these folks. I've gotten back into it, and I'm like, man, why am I sitting here watching tennis?
That's funny.
I guess it's sometimes why you go, why am I sitting here watching golf?
Right.
You know what I mean? But, man, I'm telling you, the competition level, that's what I got out of it, was just there's so much emotional change, that you make a bad shot and you could check out and lose 3 games, or you know what I mean? It's just, the competition was immense and incredible, and not counting the fact that it was cool to see a bunch of people that can afford tickets that I can't. I think the average ticket was $15,000 for Wimbledon.
Oh, just a duck boat.
Yeah, just a duck boat.
Oh man, well that's what the Duck's going on, and we got an awesome podcast prime
Let's get
here
it with Carson. Let's go.
Catch y'all here in a second.
This summer, make memories on Florida's Forgotten Coast with Williamson Outfitters. From inshore and nearshore fishing to scalping and snorkeling in the bay, plus custom boat tours made for family fun, they've got something for everybody. And when the sun sets, it's time for a nighttime flounder gigging adventure you'll never forget. Small group or big group, day or night, Williamson Outfitters has a fleet of boats and a team of licensed captains ready to take you out. Call or text Captain Chris at 850-251-9999 8650 or visit floridaducks.com. Williamson Outfitters, making the Forgotten Coast unforgettable.
What's going on, guys? We're back with the One Hell of Life Outdoor podcast. We got Carson Tharp, the owner of Jahpoo Outdoors, which y'all have probably seen on social media. If you heard the intro to the podcast, we were talking a little bit about that clip with him and Dr. Duck. And obviously, it's just a unique product when it comes to the decoy motion game. And Carson, thank you, man. We're excited to learn a little bit about you, Jahpoo, and all that good stuff.
All this technology, and I mean, if you're a waterfowl hunter, let me back up. If you're a super obsessed waterfowl hunter that spends like 7 figures a year to do this game, I'm being funny, but it feels like that. Dude, people like you that innovate the business are so inspiring, and I love it's a quality product, and I know for sure that if Dennis held it in his hand and talked highly about it, he believes in it, and I tell you what, he's one of the best out there. Period. And man, we're super excited to learn more about you, your story, and let's rock into this thing.
Yeah, gentlemen, I definitely appreciate you guys bringing me on, and absolutely, man. I think it's it's not something that necessarily was like, hey, let's like make some money. It was more so like just a passion project, more so like starting out the company itself. I don't want people thinking it's like, oh, dude, I'm making this for the guys spending $7,000 a year, but it was more so like dude, I want this damn thing in my own spread.
Yeah, of course, dude. I've been there.
Something else that like everybody would love to utilize and share the effectiveness of it.
Well, talk a little bit, man. Actually, 2 things. One, kind of introduce yourself, who you are, and like
absolutely
where you're from, all that stuff.
Yeah, and then secondly, when we get through that, I just saying this so I don't forget. I really want to know like. What was there a moment where you're like, man, we need something else in the spread today, and then like this is why you thought of it or whatever. So
and I will tell you this: the reason why I respect people like you so much is like Tristan and I just did a video of a spinning wing decoy that I did a custom
paint job on to make it a widgeon.
Okay,
because
nice.
I've never seen a widgeon spinner, and I'm like, bro, I'm so addicted to ducks that if I'm seeing widgeon, I want that damn widgeon spinner. You know what I mean?
100%.
But I don't possess, obviously, close to the ingenuity that like you've came up with. So, but man, tell us about like where you're from, what you do, what got you into hunting, all that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. So, I guess before we jump into things too, like I hope everybody listening, like, hopefully you take away something from this. I mean, so a little bit about myself. I was born in South Texas, born and raised down in a small town called Victoria, and then I came up here to go to school at the University of Texas at Austin in 2020. I was a liberal arts major. Tried to get into the notorious McComb School of Business, was denied, and then had people, constantly like looking down, like, Tharp, that won't work, especially on this idea. So I threw it on the back burner. But yeah, I graduated in a international relations and global studies major with a certificate in business Spanish, a focus in Latin American studies.
Wait.
And then
Can I pause you real quick? I want to keep hearing this, but what was the motivation on going to school for the everything you just said, the Latin studies?
Yeah. So I was here's what happened. I was going to go to Baylor. Both my parents went there, and I was like stone cold set on it. I was going to be in their finance program. And then I woke up one day. My roommates were like, or not my roommates, sorry, my good friends of mine informed me that they got into UT, and they're like, dude, Tharp, you should come to UT. And I was like, what? No, dude, don't go to Waco. Waco sucks. And I was like, kind of started thinking about it. And I was like, Waco is out in the middle of nowhere. Like, everybody just goes to Dallas or Austin. And so I was then like, you know what? You guys are right. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to UT. I'll transfer to McCombs. And I got to UT. Chose liberal arts or the international relations major because it was versatile. And it was also something that just intrigued me because I love to travel. I already speak Spanish, and they had this energy track that I was like kind of my hedge, like my, put in the part of my back pocket, so to say.
Okay.
If things go south, I'm going to do this. And so, yeah, first semester went by, not the greatest. Second semester, I built up my GPA from I think it was like a 2.6 to a 3.2, and then I ended up graduating with I want to say it was like a 3.75.
Oh, nice.
So
man.
it was like horrible first semester just because I was an idiot, and then second semester it was like nose to the grindstone, back to back, just trying to get high A's. I was trying to get hundreds, and unfortunately saw that first semester and sorry, and then just being a kid from South Texas, a lot of people also look down on that. But what I'm trying to say is it doesn't mean anything. I pursued finance directly after graduation. I graduated in COVID. And so I actually went to go work as a FA. Thought it was all, roses and daisies on the other side, but it wasn't. But I got my 7, which is a pretty hard finance exam to pass. And then in doing so, I was also doing some R&D for Jahpoo. Had some liabilities occurring. Told myself that, look, this finance gig isn't necessarily keeping up with these expenses. And I was like, you know what? Oil's coming back. My heart and soul is in the energy industry. And so let's try to make a switch. So I made a switch into oil and gas. I worked as a lineman for 3.5 years, which solely funded getting Jahpoo up to the point of manufacturing. And then, last year jumped ship. Been doing Jahpoo full time. Call it getting a little bit of an 8th month MBA, learning about how business works, production lines, marketing lines, a whole enchilada, accounting, which is not my favorite forte. And then, I've done some ventures on the side now. I'm still dabbling in oil and gas, primarily doing brokerage in the mineral space, and then also working on a ceramics venture for my mom. And then on top of that, working on a tech venture. So, it's, there's a big pivotal point in Jahpoo's foundation of whether it's going to continue or not. And I think something that I just want to share with everybody is if somebody tells you no, it doesn't work, doesn't mean no. You could treat a job as if it's gonna be your job or not. It's just up to you if it is. And I try to tell fellow entrepreneurs of is it something you want it to happen, you want it to be your full-time job, you got to treat it like it is. You can't just come up to an obstacle and be oh, well, there's that, and then start focusing on something else. You got to grab the bull by the horns and run with it.
It's great advice, man. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's hopefully it sheds some light a little bit about myself, who I am, and I guess lay a good foundation.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, obviously, one thing that strikes me about hearing your story is I think it's when you talk to innovators and entrepreneurs in the waterfowl hunting space, you hear a lot of the stories of people that are, they were doing this job, whatever it may be. Most of the time, it's not your background per se, but doing a job, and then they kind of reach this point where, like you said, they go all in on it, and then that becomes their job. It's so interesting to hear, you're obviously a very sharp guy, and the stuff that, you're talking about the ceramic venture with your mom and the other things you do, you can tell you have that entrepreneurial business mindset kind of ingrained in you. I just think it's interesting.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that was just naturally given. Just learn it as you go, tell you the truth. To me, I kind of have a motto of live with no regrets, and then also you don't know until you try. I mean, my grandfather was probably one of my biggest role models in life. Always wanted to make him proud, and it kills me to this day because I was never able to show him the final decoy painted in a printed retail box. But right before he died, he was the one that pushed me over the ledge, and he told me it's better to try and fail than not try at all. And it's he was a big Winston Churchill guy. Just threw me all these Winston Churchill quotes. I mean, it's true, man. It's better to try to do and dare mighty things and than, not try them at all. Because if you don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
That's one thing that like I try to engrade in, my interns, people I work with, are pursue your curiosities and don't be afraid to take risks. Because I mean, what else is there to do and enjoy in life if you're not? Because otherwise you're sitting there in a desk job, just a hamster on a hamster wheel.
No, I feel you, man. I feel you. I think honestly, personally, like I struggle with the same thing a lot because it's like there's always that balance, right? Of like, I do sales and stuff, and it's just like
Nice.
it's that balance of like
What kind of sales?
I'm in packaging sales, and
Okay, there you go.
it's just it's that balance, right? Where it's like
A lot more complicated than people expect.
yeah, no doubt, yeah, and I think not just necessarily talking to packaging sales, but I think any job that you do, it's always that balance, right? Where it's like either I want to make enough to where I can like kind of do whatever I want when it comes to like what I love to do, or you want to do what you love to do. So that's like at 28 years old, kind of the how I feel about it, And it's I feel like a lot of people, it seems like we're probably about the same age, Carson. I think a lot of people our age are starting to feel that way because it's like you said, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. But then there's the other side of it where it's like, well, if you can find a good career that you're okay with, then you can afford to go do what you love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you kind of like get caught in this like mental trance of like, you're working for somebody else, you're making somebody else's dream reality, not your own, and like they hone you in just based off this idea of a salary, and like the salary is the trap, because you're so scared to like leave and not have that consistent income that you find yourself stuck in that salary basis. But yeah, it is funny. Like I have a lot of friends that are starting to wake up and realize, and like everybody thought it was crazy like 3 years ago, like thought if you're starting your own company. I was like, like it's just what I want to do. I love it. I'm a creator. I'm a designer. Like I want to keep, making this thing. And on top of that, I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Cause I also have like this self pride of, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And if I don't, I find it embarrassing. So it's like, oh shit, we got to make this happen,
Yeah.
It's funny. Cause like now I'm starting to find a lot of friends, like starting to come across that point. Like, one of my good friends approached me and he was like, you know what, man? Like he quit his job and he's like, I think I'm going to open up a, sun care company. I was like, sun care? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna open up a Korean sun care company. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, they have these like special sunscreen that is like very unique and like it doesn't get oily, it's good for the reefs, like all these like stupid tributes. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, like go fucking do it, man. Yeah. Like that's sick. Like I'm all about that. Like I hate all this nasty stuff we buy, and like it's like obviously like his sister's like really big into makeup and stuff, and he's like a finance wizard, and he's also really big on like going to the beach and stuff, surfing, and I was like, dude, this makes 100% for you. Like it's cool seeing everybody pursue what they love, and I think there's like this trade-off too that like a lot of people need to recognize, like when pursuing entrepreneurialism in their career or just life in general, is like, yeah, sure, like you might be losing that salary, you know what's going to happen, right? However, like it's would you rather be doing something you love, something that you're passionate about, versus something that you're like sitting in your desk chair and you're literally like reflecting on yourself, God, I hate that guy, or like, God damn it, she's reaching out to me, or like I remember looking back and being like, what the fuck am I doing right now? Like actually, like I like the landing gig, love to have to dash, love my clients. I'm still close to my clients. I'm still close to my old coworkers. However, the actual role itself was literally just sitting in a truck for 9 hours a day. And like I would drive out to East Texas, back to Austin, and boom, there went 9 hours. I started like running the math after 2 years, and I was like, all right, how much time am I spending in the truck? And it like ended up coming out to like after 2 years, I spent like a quarter of my like life, like 3 months sitting in a truck. And I was like, holy shit, like just forecasting 3 quarters from where I'm at now is just crazy to think about. I was like, if I was spending 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, spending time with my dog, working on my physical health, like how much better could I be, you know? And so it's just things like that. Like, you know, you're working for somebody else and like you're working on this other entrepreneur job, but then, you know, this other time commitment and stealing yourself from this other time commitment. It's like how much further along could that one thing you're, you know, passionate about be,
For sure, man.
if you were to give it that time that it needs. So
Yeah, no, that's all really great advice, dude.
no,
And I'm curious. So, like, when does Jahpoo come into the picture of something like
yeah.
where A, where did this idea come from? B, when, I guess it come, you know?
Yeah. So I think I'm going to answer B, when it came into play with where falling. So I'm going to go B first than A. So it occurred back when I was in college. I kind of woke up one day. One of my good friends, he got a dog, and I was like, dude, John, why'd you get a dog? He was like, dude, I just kind of was like, you know what? I guess I'm in college. I'm on my own. I could have a dog. And I was like, you're right. I've literally been asking since I was like a kid in first grade, all the way up through like my senior year of high school. Every Christmas, every birthday, I want a dog. Never got one. Like to the point, like literally my grandma would like, I vividly remember her telling.
It's in the teens that morning, and maybe you're chasing ducks or geese. But now it's September and it's 85 degrees and you're hunting early teal or geese. As a waterfowler, you need dependable weather protection that will not break the bank. Founded in 1996, Frog Togs is not only the leader in breathable wader technology, but a company you can depend on to keep you warm and dry, head to toe, no matter your hunting environment. Stay bone dry by using discount code ZD315 for 15% off not only your first purchase, like most discount codes, but how about every single purchase you make from now until December 31st, 2024?
My parents, please get that boy a dog. So yeah, I was like, you know what, John, you're right. I can't have a dog. I wasn't like actively shopping about it. But then about like a couple months later, one of my good friends from high school that I took AP Chem with, she posted on her Snapchat story a litter of yellow labs. And I was like, oh, no shit. I reached out to her. I was like, hey, like, are you selling these? Like, what's the logistics and all this? And she said, yeah, actually, we just bred it with a sire who's like a grand champion bird dog, with our bitch who is just standard stay at home, you know, family dog. And I was like, it seems like a pretty solid duo. And she was like, if you want, you could have first pick out of the litter before they go to the sire's family where they're all going to be trained bird dogs. And I was like, that sounds incredible. Yes, please. So I went, visited the litter, put down my deposit. And then that was when they were 4 weeks old. I got Sadie at 6 weeks, so a little bit early. But I went out there, and this is at the end of my junior year in college. And they line up. They're like, "Do you want a boy or girl?" Tell her girl. They line up all the girls. They're all sitting. Like, it was weird as shit. They're all sitting in a line. And I'm like, all right, who wants to be Sadie? And the only puppy that is now Sadie just paused. And I'm like, all right, bingo, you're it. And like, didn't give a care in the world about looks, about, you know, paw size, you know, interaction. Like, that was just like, you know, it's like when you go to the roulette table, you're like black or red. Like, you hit one or the other, like, just don't think about it. And so I was like, all right, Sadie, you're it. So grabbed Sadie, and then brought her back to Austin. Didn't know if she can be a bird dog or not, but kind of wanted to have it on the back burner. But started with obedience, you know, standard, playing fetch with the ball, then the frisbee. I was kind of like trying to mold her into an airbud. I was like, I'm not really sure what I want you to do. I want you to do everything. And then about 2 months after that, I was like, crap, like if she's gonna be a bird dog, I need to start working with her right now. And so I bought a book off of Amazon, the Retriever Training by Tom Dawkins, and read it front to back. Got a lead, started working with the bumper, and then September, it was Labor Day weekend, my now roommate approached me and was like, hey man, we're going out to my ranch to shoot guns. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, if you want to come, you can bring Sadie. Like, this would be perfect. She's coming up on, I believe it was like 4 months. It'd be a great time to introduce her to gunfire. And so we went out to the ranch, did the whole 22, then the 20, and then 12 gauge. No reaction whatsoever. She was still retrieving the bumper. And I was like, all right, like we got a bird dog. And so like, progressing from bumper to bird, you have to have birds. And I didn't grow up with a family that had land. Everything I hunted as a kid was primarily just being invited out to buddies' ranches, which was primarily just whitetail.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, what am I going to do? My good buddy, he had done some dove hunting, and I was like, dude, where can we go? We got in contact with his dad. He told us about public hunting land. We got on TPWD, found a PHL just south of Austin. So ran down there, tried it out, just kind of, as you do, they gave it a good college try, trying to figure it out through trial and error. And around the second trip, we got on some birds. Sadie would go retrieve them in the water. And then it was about the third trip where we just had this like complete volley come in, and it was just lights out, and she broke. And I was like, going into that hunting trip, I was like, I need to focus on Sadie. And so had her on the lead, she broke, yanked it. I was like, no, come here. She came over, heeled, sat down, and looked me in the eye. And I just very vividly remember like this connection between her and I of like, it clicked, like just like she was like all these like months and hours, day by day of training, finally mapping out to here. So I became addicted after that point, and was going every single second I could. I mean, I was skipping football games, skipping like parties with like the girls. Like it was like I have to get the dog out on birds. And like, I was also, crack acid on to go. Everybody's like, dude, Tharp, you're crazy. I'm like, dude, I have like a 5-month-old puppy that's, cold bird dog retriever. That's going to be the best. Like, I got to go. Winter break hit. Everybody went home. I was still here in Austin. My family just moved here, so I was staying in my apartment. And I was like, crap, what do I do? Sadie loved to swim. There is this park here called Redbud.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, you can't go anymore because it's got algae, but I would take her there literally every single day. And we would go hit the bumper and, essentially just act like we were hunting, do the whole clap when you throw it. She, make her sit, make some fake words, send her off. And it was about like, I don't know, halfway through winter break, I was like, Sadie loves to swim. We're working with a bumper. I need to get her into duck hunting. And so I went down to Cabela's, bought a couple dozen decoys, went out to another PHL, didn't shoot shit. Then I was like, well, maybe I don't have enough decoys. So I went, bought some more decoys at Cabela's, went back out the next day, didn't shoot shit. I was like, well, crap, what am I doing? And, in all this, like I'm watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out, how to properly duck hunt, how it works. And around this time is when dive bombs starting to start up. And, it's just lights out, green head, rain out. And like, I want to do that. There's got to be a way. Like, I just want to get a photo of Sadie some greenheads. And then I find out about motion. I'm like, motion, interesting. And I start looking into it. Was a motion decoy. Oh, it's a decoy that mimics moving birds. It's a robotic decoy essentially. And I was like, that makes sense. Like, who would have thought about that?
Hey, one thing real quick. I want to keep rolling with this, but I couldn't let us get too far down the trail without bringing this up. One, I want to applaud you because the obsessiveness that you had with the sport is amazing to keep going, because what happens with one of the main motivations behind, and I don't want to get on like a whole 20-minute tangent about why we started our podcast, but one of the big things we're big on is like showing the reality of hunting. And like we have hunts on our YouTube where like we get skunked, we got our asses smoked. Yeah,
I'm glad y'all do that.
Yeah, because the whole thing is
we got one called Win Some Lose Some. It was just up a minute ago while we're sitting here, and I'm just like, dude, we got our asses kicked that day.
Yeah, so the whole thing is just because we've always wanted to show the reality of it, because there's so many people that get into the outdoors, man, that are like, if they're not having, especially our generation, like and younger, if they're not having that instant gratification, it's kind of like, oh, I guess I'm gonna sell my stuff and do something else. I'll go golf or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
100%. And it's so frustrating. It's like I see guys do that, and I'm like, dude, like I'll take them out for their first hunt. We get skunked, like, dude, that shit sucks. Like, that's not fun. And I'm like, well, it's fun when you shoot the birds, like that.
Yeah.
But like, don't be wrong, it's still, and it's hard to like portray to them like how it's still fun when you're not shooting, because like, even getting skunked, there's an enjoyment in it of like just being out there with the boys, like waking up, crack of dawn, getting the breakfast sandwiches, setting up the spread, shooting the shit. Like that's all like an enjoyment of the sport. I think a lot of people lose sight of.
Well, and let's face it, and I think probably the biggest publicist on this is Rogan. He's just like, you got to test yourself, right? You got to work hard for something, and that drives that. There's something inside of you that whenever you get your butt kicked doing something, there's still this sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment, and I don't want to take women out of the picture, because I know women that could outwork many men that listen to this. All right, but there's something special that happens when you work hard for something, and when you get to enjoy that with everybody else as a team, it's pretty special.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. And it's anything in life. It's weightlifting, it's fitness, it's running, it's work, it's kids, it's everything, man. Yep. And it's hunting is one of those. Getting a limit of greenheads is, I think, the pinnacle of the peak. You're first.
Yeah.
So
or if you're from Georgia, a limit of wood ducks.
Yeah.
Woodies. Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to a wood. Those are fun too.
Let's give it up for the woodies.
So when I cut you off, you were talking about motion, and when it clicked, you're like, all right, motion.
Yeah, so I was like in this lull. I was watching everybody just shoot lights out limits. I hadn't shot anything. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Find out about motion duck decoys. So my third day duck hunting in a row, I run down to Cabela's and I buy a spinning wing decoy. I go out, invite my now co-founder, and we got the dog. And we're sitting on this tank on this PHL, and we have this spoonbill. Like I'm like out putting out decoys, and we have a spoonbill land right behind me. It is shooting light. We were late to the spot, and I was like, "Shit!" Stays in the water still, and Will's like, "Dude, there's a duck." I was like, "Holy cow!" I'm like,
so excited out I know that feeling, dude. So
I'm
excited.
Tiptoeing out of the water, like kind of like like trying to sneak a cookie behind your mom type of like like trying to be all quiet. Goes it down, stays next to me. This duck is still in the freaking tank on the opposite side of the water. He's like, dude, should we shoot it? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like I can't shoot. He's like, dude, you shoot it. I'm like, no, like I got the dog. I got the whole city. Freaking shoot it. And so he yips at it. It gets up off the water, folds it, gets down. Sadie goes and gets it. We don't see anything else the rest of the day, right?
Was that her first duck retrieve?
That was her first retrieve. We go back to our apartment. We butterfly it up, like put it on the skillet. We have each one duck breast. We're like, that's the best thing I've ever tasted.
Dude,
yeah. Drove an hour and a half outside. 3 days. I mean, the amount of energy just in terms of like my own personal expense, but also just like the gasoline and just everything that went into getting that one bird. It felt like I climbed a mountain, man. So we got that, and I was like, okay, motion. I need more motion. So I buy another spinning wing duck decoy. Then we go try another spot because we weren't seeing birds. It was actually on the Colorado River. He was out of town. It was me and Sadie by myself, and I had about an hour after shooting light. I had 3 green-winged teal come in, and I'm just like, I've watched all the call videos. I've watched the decoy setup. My buddy told me about this spot. I'm on the right spot. I've got motion, and these would not commit. And I'm like, what the hell is going wrong? Like, I mean, they're coming on the turn. I'm going, nothing.
Yeah.
And like they're just looking at it, and I'm like, God, son of a bitch, like, please come in. Like I want to like shoot more than one bird. Eventually, like I had another pass, don't shoot anything. But in that moment when those birds were working on me, I had this idea. I was like, you know what? I need a motion duck decoy like the Mojo Pulsator, but it does the full range of motion. It goes head above water, and then it goes butt up, head down, and then vice versa. And I was like, there's got to be something on the market like that. So I go home, scour the internet. I can't find anything. I find like a jerk string, but I'm hunting public. I'm hiking in. It's typically just me and the dog. I'm going through, knee deep, waist deep mud. And I was like, I'm not setting that up. I'm typically juggling the gun, trying to stick the mojo in the ground, also managing the dog and the dog stand. Like that's just not going to work. And then I saw some other contraptions, that were like a car battery. And I was like, I'm not carrying a car battery in there. That seems heavy.
Yeah.
Also, like, what if the dog gets caught up? And I was like, damn, like this can't be that complicated to make. I just started conceptualizing about it. I didn't really know what to do with it, being a liberal arts major in regards to, product design, especially on the R&D of product design. But I was like, all right, I'm going to approach my two good friends that are probably the smartest people that I know. One is currently a product designer for Apple. Wow. And then the other one is the head of a refinery in Houston. So like, not like he's like managing a team, like he's literally in control of the entire production of a refinery.
Do you want coffee that doesn't suck? Get the Duck. Dirty Duck coffee is made specifically for the waterfowl enthusiast. Enjoy flavors like Morning Wood, Dark Dynasty, Cinnamon Teal Snickerdoodle, and First Flight to unlock the flavor that you'll enjoy in the blind for years to come. Our friends at Dirty Duck Coffee Company are now offering all Zero Duck 30 followers a 15% discount when you use code ZeroDuck15 on your next order.
Like they're very prestigious individuals. But I approached them at the time, when we were all seniors in college. And they said, Tharp, that is a stupid idea. That would not work. And I was like, well, I guess you're right. So I threw it on the back burner, didn't think anything of it. COVID hit. And in this process, I was studying for my finance exams, moved in with one of my now good buddies. And he approached me. He's like, Tharp, how can we make some money? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to sit here playing video games all day, or, watching Netflix or playing golf or doing nothing. And so I have this duck decoy idea, and something like to pause real quick in the timeline. Since my freshman year I have this notes still in my phone of just stupid ideas for products that come to mind that I would just write down. Okay. And this was one of them that wasn't one of the ideas my freshman year was a crane that was traveling in a vacuum propelled by magnets. And then a month later, Elon Musk came out with the announcement of the Hyperloop. And I was like, God damn it. I was almost there. And so this is the only idea that I had that wasn't unreasonable. Also I thought would be fairly simple to create. And so we started running with it. We started doing some prototyping, cutting up decoys, putting motors and weights inside, trying to figure out how it works. Kind of figured it out. I then approached my now co-founder, who's an engineer, and man, since then, here we are. It's been a wild ride, or wild roller coaster, but it's been a good ride, man. I'm very happy with the way things have come and where things are at, and especially really, really eager and excited to share with the public the new developments for this upcoming season. That's
awesome, man. And I had a couple questions. The first one, where did the name Jahpoo come from? Because you hear that name and you're like what is a Jahpoo? Where does that come from?
Yeah, you think it's some stupid Middle Eastern
I don't know about that. I was just I don't. I honestly, when I hear
you should see some of the Facebook comments, man. It's
oh god, these
some guys. Oh, dude, these old geezers.
When I think about it, I think it's that's got to be some Louisiana shit, because you think of poodoo or whatever for a coot, and then Piro for a canoe. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean it does have a little Asian twang to it. So It's hard because people ask me, like, how'd you come with Jahpoo, which is like, you know, the company, but then also how'd you come up with the name? And the two kind of come in tandem. So getting Sadie, why I was like, she's going to be my best dog. She's going to be the best dog ever. There will be no complaints, was because my roommates senior year were like, oh, dude, I don't want to live with the dog if it's a, you know, POS and doesn't listen, it's pooping and peeing. And I was like, that's not going to be safe. That is not allowed. Like, she cannot live with my parents. She's going to be mine. And plus, I've seen other people in college that had dogs like that. And I was like, absolutely not. That is, there are no ifs and or buts about this. This is non-negotiable. And so going in to senior year, they're like, Carson, why did you name her Sadie? Even like girls would be like, that's like the most generic name ever.
I'm being honest with you, I really like that name though.
Yeah, me too.
That's
I
cute.
do too. Sadie's good. I think it's a good, like, you know, first lab. Like, you gotta get it out of the way.
I know why he named it Sadie, because he had a crush on Sadie Robertson. That's why. I'm just playing. Every like
We gotta be careful.
13-year-old boy at some point did.
Oh, 100%, man. I would do, yeah.
Anyway,
Discovery Channel, Duck Dynasty, you know, eyes glued. But yeah, so named her Sadie, and they're like, Tharp's a stupid name. I'm like, well, you know, it's got 2 syllables, it's easy to say. She responds to it. We're gonna run with it. But my roommates wanted to name her something funny, and I was like, okay, like, sorry, her name's Sadie. But I came back from the library one day, and they were calling her Jahpoo, and I was like, this is literally the stupidest name I've ever heard of. Like, what is this? And then they were saying Jahpoo Doris, and I was like, this is obnoxious. Like, please stop. And Sadie would, like, just based off the tone that they would say it in, Sadie would get very excited. And then eventually it started getting to the point that she started having a recall, and I was like getting pissed off. I was like, yo, you're messing with my dog. Like, please stop.
yeah, we
Like,
gotta like pro athlete here. We're trying to accomplish some shit. You can't be.
Not only that, but it's like a living, like, you know, being. Like, it's not like this is like, you know, some, you know, stupid gimmick of like a company or you know,
right.
Like, oh, okay, that's ironic. You know, some stupid product or something. Like, this is like, you know, my life and soul is like in this dog. Please stop. But that didn't do anything. It spread into Greek life. It spread into amongst the girls. They're all calling her Jahpoo, and I was like, shit. So when it came time to form the business, I was like, you know, I saw all these other businesses and their names. You know, the key to marketing a business and its marketability, branding, is having a unique name. And you want that uniqueness to be in relation to your product offering. And I was like, well, Sadie was the inspiration for me in the company. And going into that, Jahpoo is just some random made up name. So let's just roll with it. So I got on like business search, couldn't find anything. I was like, all right, I guess we're rolling with Jahpoo Outdoors. So Jahpoo Outdoors was incorporated in April of 2021. And in 2023, I went on my first podcast. And my roommate that I was living with that came up with the fake name, approached me shortly thereafter. And he was like, I told him, essentially, I thought that my roommates just made it up. And he was like, no, Tharp, that's not what happened. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, no, man, we were watching The Grinch Stole Christmas. And I was like, what? Like Dr. Seuss? And he's like, yeah. Essentially, at the very end of The Grinch Stole Christmas, the Grinch is standing up on top of the mountain after stealing all the stuff from the Who's. All the Who's are dancing around the Christmas tree, singing Jahpoo Dore, Jahpoo Dore. And they thought they were saying Jahpoo Doris, and they thought it was just so funny and so stupid. And they just started saying that around. I guess they like said it in the movie or something, and Sadie got excited. And yeah, it stuck. So
that's so
the
funny,
name.
Dude.
Yeah, it's a kind of two in tandem here. It's like we got Sadie and we got Dr. Seuss. So that's the name Jahpoo for you.
That's awesome, man.
What a great story.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
And you know, when it comes to, you know, you start, I think we're both really curious to hear like what from product development standpoint, right? It's like, okay, how do you like, okay, become, here's the first prototype, and like you have this idea that you want it to, you know, have the head go around in the water and all that, like you were talking about, and look really like a feeding duck. Because I mean, obviously, I'm not telling you anything. That's the only thing on the market that's acting like a truly feeding duck that is motion based. And how does that whole process work as far as developing this thing and then like taking it to market?
Yeah, so I mean, like, a little background too about me. My mom's, so I told you about the ceramics venture. My mom's an art teacher, and then she's been teaching ceramics forever. And then my dad, he is a practicing radiologist, but also does glass blowing as a glass artist. And then my sister, she's a dance artist. So like art kind of like runs in my genes naturally, somehow, some way, some form.
Sure, that creativity gene.
Yeah. And I was never, that kid that was like in high school. I was like, I'm going to go to art class and I'm going to do like, screw sports. Like, dude, I was like, varsity starting year, like, playing club and high school, like balls to the wall sports.
Right.
But I've always had this like attention to detail and just, creativity and just imaginative, or I guess imagination, I guess I should say. So I base this product based off of like seeing the jerk string and these other products that you have to sync a car battery with, or you have cables and you essentially run a calculus problem at 5 a.m. when you're hungover and you've walked like 500 yards through deep mud. I was like, I don't want that. I want simple ease of use, and that's what our entire product offering is based around, is that it can't get tangled up. It's easy to use. You don't have to pay extra for a remote. You don't have to sync a remote. And it runs off of your standard AA battery pack. You don't have to carry, so you don't have to worry about being electrocuted in the water. Is our whole thing. So, I mean, starting with it's problem solving, man. Like you kind of have to, like, for us is the concept. It's like, all right, what is like the initial mechanism to create this motion, especially inside of a buoyant shape of a decoy. And luckily I had some experience with product development, like unintentionally. When I was in middle school, I actually attended a national underwater robotics competition.
Really?
Where we created this underwater submarine that was tasked with sending or it was tasked with going through an obstacle course underwater. It was about like 50 yards swimming
no
pool.
kidding.
But then
That's
also,
pretty cool.
Yeah, and then we also had to like raise objects to the surface. So like we'd like shoot ping pong balls into this bucket and like see who could do it the fastest, essentially. But it was the mechanical engineering with that and the electrical engineering were just very simple, just intro. And I learned a lot in that, and all that simple mechanics and electrical engineering directly applied into this. Obviously it's a lot more complicated, but and I've learned a lot more than what I did then. But that was, I would say, kind of the start of our prototyping. Lots of 3D printing involved. Luckily my two co-founders, who are just incredible engineers, help guide us along the way, and just help of industry folk too, and take it from there. I mean, I think the biggest thing within any business, any product development, which when I say product development, it could mean anything. It could be software, it could be hard goods, it could be soft goods. You could be consulting even. It's having the ability to assess the problem and like, what is the question? What is the problem we're facing? And then starting to navigate, all right, how can we solve this problem?
Sure.
And like, what is the best approach around it? So in similar light of us with this prototype, it was like, okay, we need a custom shell. Like, how are we going to do this? We got to draft it up in the computer. How do you do that? You do it in Autodesk. And then how do you go from Autodesk? How do you 3D print it? And like, why are we having these problems with the 3D print? And it's just a lot of research, dude. Like,
sure.
Sounds like it, man.
Thankful. Yeah. I mean, now there's ChatGPT, so that kind of streamlines some things. Unfortunately, don't get me wrong, at least the current state, we have not been able to make anything from it, but it helps with figuring out problems.
Sure.
Yeah, man.
Believe me, we've tried it.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I bet there's probably some pretty entertaining prototypes that were misprints.
Oh yeah, I mean, we went through like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different iterations. I mean, the amount of duck decoys I've made, like, I mean, I'm over. I mean, obviously did the big production run last fall, but in terms of just our prototyping, it was. I mean, I probably made 70 of these things.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, and it's like it's not like you just connect a motor to a weight. Like it's a very intricate, complex um, mechanism, and it was, dude, it was pulling teeth. I don't never forget our first trade show. I was so excited. I was like, okay, I'm gonna, like, once I got my first prototype and we just submitted our provisional patent application, I was like, okay, I'm gonna test the buying market. There was a trade show going on here in Austin in March. It was called the Hill Country Hoedown. And the year previously, when I attended it, there was like Gunner Kennels, there was Hella Dry, there's Pecos Tables, just a bunch of big outdoor brands.
Mm.
And so I was like, this is perfect. It's coming up in March. We just filed our non-provisional, our provisional application. And I was like, I just got my prototype done. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to order 6 3D prints or material. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. I'm kind of all over the place, you guys. Apologies.
Oh, you're good, man.
I'm going to order enough material for 6 3D printed decoys. And I'm going to go and I'm going to try to sell these 6 3D printed decoys at the show. And I was all amped up. I was like, this seems like a simple process. I had, in sourcing the 3D prints, I changed my supplier. I also changed the material type. And I had chosen to take off a week of work. Product came in and I was assembling them, and every night all the way up to the show, I was up till like, I don't know, 2 a.m, waking up at 6 a.m.
Wow.
trying to make these 6 freaking decoys, man. I was like running into all these problems in the production process that I were unaware of that existed. A lot of them being very simple. It took me like 2-3 hours to figure out like what the heck is going wrong. Like, why does this part not fit? And then just figuring out it's in the wrong orientation. And also like the painting and the painting process was a pain because one, getting the appearance right and figuring out how to paint a duck decoy was a whole dilemma. But then 2, also making sure the painting sticked. So I go through this whole week of production of these 6 decoys, and out of all 6 decoys, I don't get a single one to work on day one. I painted them, assembled them, nothing. And I was like, shoot. My co-founder comes into town, and we go to the show. We're showing our prototype, getting a lot of like great responses. It was like really reassuring because I remember calling my mom and like legitimately crying tears. Mom, I failed. This is a dutz. It's not happening. Like I was beaten. But then I get to the show, and every single person came by. I was like, "This is sick. This is awesome. You got to keep doing this." And I was like, "Holy hell!" Like, yeah. I mean, we were just like, "Oh man, we got something." All amped up. We run to Home Depot directly after the show. We get all these parts and supplies to try to make the painting decoys work. We start working on 6, and we were able to get 2 that were painted. And so we like go to the show, and we're showing off these janky science fair,
That's hilarious,
6
dude.
painted decoys. And dude, it was the best. Like, I will never forget that. It was probably one of my favorite memories of the company's foundation. But just to go to show, like, there's a lot of unexpected and a lot of complexities in like designing these things. And no matter like the difficulties that arise, it's just like having the ability to keep going that really just kind of allows you to advance. And also, I don't know if you're religious, if you guys are religious or not, but also looking at things such as family. And for me, like, God's a big part of my life, but also looking at God and using him as guidance and just trusting that there is a set path plan for you. And if I not go to plan directly just yet, just know to continue on. Man, it was. I will never forget that show. That was the first, and then we went to Delta. Kind of similar experience.
Were you there in 23?
We got our first, 23 at Little Rock.
Yeah, that's
and we got our first pre-orders, and I sold, I don't know, 8 decoys, man. And I thought I was the king of the world. I was like, we got proof of product. It's ended up going, like, I started fundraising, going through the manufacturing process, shit hit the fan because I did not understand going from 3D printing to injection molding, how complicated it was. And that's another thing that like a lot of people don't understand about our products is they're like, oh, it looks ugly. Like it has no texture. It's got shine. And so the reason why is because we were kind of pioneering a new manufacturing process in the decoy space. Like all the decoys you see right now are what's called blow molded. Well, ours is injection molded. And the reason why we have to go injection molded is because of the internal mechanism that we have. And so yeah, it's kind of like this idea of you design up all your parts of the computer and you send it and they CNC mold it. And it's just like, okay, based off of the tolerance on the tooling and the parts coming out, you think there would be no problems, but wrong. There's all these different complexities with these different types of plastics and their cooling features. The way that like plastic flows into the mold affects the way that the plastic shrinks. And then, you know, on top of this, you have the paint adhesion factor. And so the manufacturing, we thought we were forecasting it would take us like 3 months. It ended up just taking us like 8. Wow. And then, yeah, it sucked. And then I was like, all right, I got to paint this thing. And the paint, I mean, I literally did not get it to be non-sticking until this scratch proof until this upcoming season. Last season, I had it to where it was good. It was durable, but like it was, you take a nail to it and it would scratch. This new one, like you could drag across concrete and it's fine. But yeah, just getting to the point of last year's, you know, what I considered American made, or it was American made, but American made scratch proof paint, I guess I should say. It took me 4 or 5 months to figure out, you know, what kind of paint to use, the proper process with it, the cure times associated with it. And then, you know, you have your different applications on it. So, like,
you got to make sure you have UV
spray paint. Oh, yeah, dude, it sucked. It was brutal. But, yeah, we got it, dude. It's a bad to the bone, new Kranken decoy. I'm really excited to share. Long story short, the prototype process is never ending, but it's a fun experience and it's a trial.
Well, I'm curious. So, I had a further question with this, but so how long have you guys, last year was your like first like big run with this, like this past duck season or no?
Yeah, it was our first season. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious. I mean, obviously, cause everybody outside looking in, this is like a great idea. I'm curious, like, how was that feedback after this first season? Like, was it really reassuring, I'm assuming?
Oh yeah, it was good. Like we had repeat orders.
Dude, I've seen some guys on YouTube actually run some shorts.
Oh no way, really?
Yeah, I saw one just the other day.
Please email those to me because I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah, dude, I just saw one the other day, and forgive me for not saving it, but I was just looked random through YouTube Shorts, and I go, oh, I guess that's somebody that worked with Carson or something. But he was just talking about your product and how good it was.
Huh?
Oh, that fires me up, man.
Yeah,
that's great to hear. Yeah, it's really good. Like I it was my 8-month MBA. So part of running a business is customer service, right? Whether it's sales, consulting, whatever. My first batch, I had a bug in, I think it was like 20% of the decoys. And so I started having customers reach out. Y'all know duck hunters.
Oh yeah.
And this was a bug that I didn't know about. Yeah, this is the worst fucking product ever.
Right.
Fuck this.
Man, your mom can go to hell. Whatever.
Exactly, man.
Right.
I'm getting beat up on email and phone calls and text messages. And
bro.
At this period of time, I left my, high paying oil and gas job to pursue selling duck decoys. And on top of, I was not spending any money on marketing at the time. So I was like, just in the dumps because I was just getting beat up by these people. I was like, damn it, I got a shitty product. Nobody wants to buy it. Like, what the hell? But then at the end of season, I woke up, I was like, I'm not spending money on marketing. Like, what am I doing? Started spending marketing, sales started. I was like, oh, wow, this is good. And then towards the end of the season, I had customers that had pre-ordered from me a year early that never received their decoy text me like, I've had this thing all season. This is great. Like, I love it. And I'm still having people run comments. Like, I can't be more happier to have this thing. These things are great. Like, the testimonies, like talking to Dr. Duck, he's like really excited for us coming up this upcoming season. And it's just like, it's really reassuring to get that kind of feedback, because it's like that moment with Sadie. Like, granted, it was 3 months, but Jahpoo's been 4 years, lots of time, lots of money, like grit, sweat, just poured into this thing. And we're not anywhere near Yeti coolers, but we're working on it, man.
That's a great AI video showing Jahpoo decoy. Says it's bear proof.
I'll show you alligator proof, maybe.
Oh,
We're in the marsh quite a bit in the south.
We hunt a spot every time or two where you might encounter 10 or 30 alligators. I don't know.
Well, we did one morning during early teal season. We did count over
62
plus sets of eyes.
Bro, it was the most insane thing.
God.
We could just see, like, shining
in Florida.
Yeah,
just shining the.
Dude, that is
actually,
terrifying.
this is Southeast Georgia.
Yeah.
This is right on the border.
Jesus.
And we panned over, and I won't tell you what happened, but I did hear some other duck hunters got attacked, and
Holy shit.
I did hear a couple rounds go off in self-defense only.
I'll tell you this, man. Like, I do not tend to go with alligators.
We don't
I've
mind
never
them,
encountered
honestly.
one, thankfully, but they scare the living shit out of me. Like, my dad used to have a house in Florida. I don't know what it is about reptiles, but I just do not.
Well, dude,
I
they're
don't
just
hunt.
like they're reaction, dude. They're just soulless. Like, they just
Like,
react.
the thing that pisses us off the most about is they learn the behavior, hear the shots, hear the water splash. They've got this learned behavior of just, like, no different than you hear about you've got a gator or a crocodile on the Amazon, right? And they know these egrets that nest above them. And they're going to drop some chicks, and they're going to be there to get them. Same thing down in the South, dude. I mean, they just know. That's what pisses me off most, is that they just take our ducks.
And what's crazy, Carson, is the state wild. We've had the Georgia waterfowl biologist on the podcast, and
that specializes with gators.
Guess what else she's? It's gators. That's the other thing. She's the biologist, and so it's like we're trying to explain to her that, like, we were teal hunting and saw 62 gators. She's like, "That's great." We're like, "I don't know if it's great."
We're like, "No, it's not.
It's not terrifying."
But then you gotta flow into the whole the whole process of
a wetland,
and why they're important and all that kind of stuff, but as selfish duck hunters, we're just like, no.
Yeah, they're very important. And it's like, wow, because, like, we're all about, like, wetland conservation, but
I'd definitely be more covered up in frogs that gators couldn't kill than gators themselves.
Well, I'm right there with you, man. Like, I intentionally do not hunt anywhere that there are gators. Like, I will hunt, like, the coast sometimes, but more so, like, hunting the delta where it's, like, turned to salt water. At least I know that from experience there's no gators in there. But when I, like, hear people go out to, like, there's this lake called Choke Canyon here in Texas that is notorious for having gators on it. The only good thing I would say about it is you have a really good probability of shooting a cinnamon, but I just don't find the trade-off
dude, what about
satisfying enough to go hunt with a 16-foot alligator right next to you, or, like, while you're retrieving birds. Like, people are like, say the horror stories about dogs. And stuff.
It's a different ball game when you have a dog with you, for sure.
Yeah. Well, what about all the spottings of all these bull sharks in the brackish waters? I mean, honestly, I never even considered that. I'd be like, my leg gets hit, and I'm like, oh, it's a redfish, or something. Yeah. But it could have been a bull shark, what I mean?
That's actually very true. Yeah, I know, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It comes back to that whole thing, like, same thing with, like, black bears. Grizzlies are a different story, but it's kind of like everyone gets that, like, fear of, oh my God, I'm going to get attacked by a black bear. And it's like the reality of it, it's like one person a year gets attacked by a black bear. There's like 2 people a year.
True.
That
it's
get
usually
attacked by
pretty
a
dumb
shark.
people.
Now,
it's like, what is, like, the percentage of, like, actual attacks to encounters?
Yeah.
I saw this video the other day about attacks by bison on the human population. And this guy is like, unfortunately, all of these videos are stupid people. They're just walking up to a bison at Yellowstone going, hey, you look cuddly on TV. Wham. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's no different than approaching a bull. You know, like they're
No doubt.
they're 1,000-pound animals that are just nothing but pure muscle, and you poke it off and piss off, it's gonna have some self-defense.
That's right.
So Carson, outlook for this season. Are you going to be at A, Delta or B, Ducks?
Yeah, we'll be at both. We'll be at Delta, Ducks. We'll also be at Game Fair, and
Awesome,
then what is that? October, we'll be at Shin Film Festival.
Awesome, dude. Okay, so we're going to be at Ducks, so we're definitely going to come by the booth. Definitely ought to grab some pictures, shake hands, all that good stuff.
Get a little media going.
Yeah, because we're gonna
there we go.
We're gonna be. We haven't really ironed out the details yet, but we're thinking about doing one of those deals where we walk around with the mic and the camera and just like ask random questions and whatever. And like if you get it right, we'll give you like one Hub Life.
I almost want to do like the old school like jaywalking. Do you remember that? When Jay Leno would call it jaywalking. He would walk down the street right before the show and walk up and go, "Who is the previous president?"
Oh, yeah.
And people would give some crazy answers, dude. I mean, he would just ask him, like, all right, so right now, just something that you would think most people would know.
That'd be pretty good. If y'all did that, like, with people going inside the convention center.
I'm thinking, like, just some off the wall fact about like a mallard that would make you think it's like a diver duck.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, fun fact, it's actually, they'll guess canvasback. You're like, no, it's a mallard.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you hit people with like this stereotypical, like, why are there more birds on one side than the other? Like I'm pretty sure you'll get some.
You just walk up somebody,
responses.
You walk up somebody from the south and you just go, where are you from? They're like, Georgia. You'd be like, wood duck or mallard? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, definitely super excited to meet you there, man. And as far as what else you got planned for the season, is there anything else that like stands out to you, or any just personal like hunting trips that you're excited for?
Oh, dude, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm ready to be in the blind, just hanging out with buddies and working the dog, watching birds work and all that jazz. But I mean, I'm excited to share the new product. I'm excited to share the new features of it. We've got, a product line that we are working on that I'm eager to share, new product developments on top of that. So like kind of like we have a lot of stuff cooking that I'm really, really eager to share with the public. And this upcoming season as well, we're planning on doing a boat ramp tour. We're calling it the Jahpoo Boat Ramp Rodeo. We'll be once a month going to a boat ramp here in Texas, Arkansas, and then Oklahoma, just setting up shop, making some breakfast tacos, handing out some merch, just to meet the community.
That's awesome.
So
That's really
I'm excited
smart,
to
dude.
do
That's
that.
great.
And then we'll also be doing some hunts with some outfitters and some friends and family. And I think I'm excited to wake up in February and see what all has occurred.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Well, we'll tell everybody, A, where they can get this thing from, how much does it cost,
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and all that.
Absolutely. More than happy to. I appreciate y'all sending the opportunity. So, if you're interested or have questions about the product itself, who we are, you just go to our website. It's www.jahpoo.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, even Spotify. If y'all want some new age music.
On.
Nice.
Yeah. We're selling, as of current, the Mallard decoy and the matte black. The Mallard is retailing at $189, as well as the matte black is retailing at, I believe it's like $163 right now. We are going to be throwing in a complimentary rechargeable battery with every pre-order until we get inventory here in the U.S. Right now, we are projecting inventory to land here end of August. Obviously, given the whole global trade war dynamics, we will keep everybody updated as we get closer, and if things change, However, if you want a decoy for this upcoming season, we strongly encourage you to go and pre-order now. One, so you get the chargeable battery pack, but two, you're also ensuring that you're getting your decoy in season or before season starts. The last thing we want to have happen is season hits, inventory lands, and you decide you want a decoy and we don't have any inventory until March of next year. So yes, please, if you're interested, go to the website, www.jahpoo.com. Any questions, concerns, find us on social media, email us at info@jahpoo.com, and we will get back to you. Also, if you're going to be attending any of the trade shows, the Delta Ducks, Game Fair, you name it, feel free to swing by. I would love to, shake hands, show you about the product, and talk shop.
Awesome, Carson. Well,
Love
man,
it, dude.
Thank you so much for the time tonight. We really enjoyed learning about the product, and excited to meet you at Ducks, man.
Yeah, man. Can't wait to shake your hand, bro.
Absolutely, boys. I enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you. And don't be ashamed if you want anything.
Sounds good, Carson. Appreciate you, man.
Take care of yourself. We'll see you soon. Safe travels.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that podcast with Carson.
Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, we had a blast with him. And so, listener question of the week, right?
All right. Hit me with it.
The question that we got this week is from Chris Seaton. And I believe Chris is out in Oklahoma, if I remember right. And how accurate are the numbers that are put out on the hatch results and number of ducks? And being a tech savvy person, I'd like to call myself, I went ahead. Actually, I got to do it again because it disappeared. But I went ahead and put this in the chat GPT earlier because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not smart enough to have the answer to that. Let me see.
I've got a general answer for it.
Well, you can go ahead and work on that while I'm
here's
working
the bottom
on the
line.
ChatGPT.
We have to depend on the resources that we have. All right. So what that consists of, and I urge you to go look on Ducks Unlimited and Delta Waterfowl's websites and go do some research. What it really boils down to is they're going out there and making assessments and using the technology they have. Now, technology's been changing. I mean, we're starting to use drones and stuff instead of just dragging fences and jumping birds and checking nests, see what the hatch rate is. Delta's done such an incredible job with predator management. It's an open book. It really is. But here's what I can say confidently. We are, with technology and research that's going into this now, we're more accurate than we ever have been. That is a 100% proven fact because we're utilizing technology to come up with this stuff. And these folks that do this stuff, the biologists and the volunteers that participate in this, they're trying to produce the best numbers for us. So at the end of the day, it comes down on the data that drives it, right?
Yeah, I think that was a great answer, and I think that's most of what I saw when I put this in the chat GPT earlier. At the end of the day, it's estimate, not exact count. So it's like you kind of got to take this thing with a grain of salt.
It's way better than it was in the 50s.
Yeah.
All right.
And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if you're looking at these numbers and you're thinking, man, it's higher this year and I'm going to have a exponentially better duck season, that's probably not the way to look at it because this is not really the reality of things. There's so many different variables.
It's so situational. Like, for example, and we've talked about this before, Tristan, we happen to be in a pocket with Delta Thunder Outfitters where, bro, you're going to see all the pintails you can dream of. Mm-hmm. Dream of. Like, we've seen that for years now. But you could be 5 miles away, maybe, and not see them at all. Mm-hmm. So you think the pintail population is terrible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so situational into specifically where you are in so many ways as far as, perception goes.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think just keep in mind it's an estimate. And basically, the way they're doing this stuff is, which you probably can speak to a lot of this off of memory, Dad, but, aerial surveys. So essentially, they might be looking at ponds, they might be looking at fields, whatever, and they're trying to basically take a area. And from what I read earlier is like, you're doing a sample. Yeah, they're doing a sample and then like extrapolating that across the whole area. And basically, depending on how they're trying to hit the prime time of the breeding season so they can get the most accurate data. But like, depending on the winter, depending on X, Y, and Z, the water,
the species,
how
they nest.
They might not be getting the most accurate like aerial view, and they're just doing their best, and it really just depends on environmental factors.
Well, I'll tell you this
but
about
one thing that was important is like it, even though that like that can vary, and like actually Kate asked, we were talking about this the other night, and he asked like the kind of the same thing, and I'm like, I wouldn't say they're accurate like to the if 38.2 million ducks and we got that many.
Yeah.
But, there might be 35 million ducks. There might be 39 million ducks.
There might be 42.
I think within a few million, it's probably pretty accurate, because it's just that's all I was going to say. It's just, I think it's pretty accurate.
People way smarter than us that have came up with these perimeters.
Yes.
To gauge this stuff, right? It's just like the density. When you look into a square, and if let's say that you look into a square that is 100 by 100, right? And I'm saying yards. And let's say you count 120 ducks. If you see that same square multiplied 10 times, it's pretty easy math for a rough estimate.
I remember the thing I was going to add to that is the other thing I read was that over the course of how many years they've been doing this, like 60, 70 years.
Oh, it's a long time.
It's something ridiculous.
COVID was like one of the first times they couldn't
The
do
only
it.
time.
Yeah, only time, I think, yeah.
So it's been going on for 60, 70 years. There's a lot of people involved in it. And over the course of all that time, it's at the bare minimum showed like these trends.
Yep.
So like, you're going to have variance year over year, but when you look at 70 years of data, then all of a sudden you get a much clearer picture on how many ducks there probably are. You know what I mean? So
right.
I think when you look at the big picture and look at it like an estimate, it's probably relatively accurate.
Here's what I will say on an individual waterfowl species or mother and father. Let's just drake, hen, the male goose, female goose. And I know this is just a very small sample, but this puts it in perspective for me. I live on a lake. We've got resident geese. I can tell that these same two by their markings, they've been together for 4 years. I've watched them do a nest 3 years in a row, and it failed in a neighborhood. All right, it's a pretty big lake, but it's a neighborhood where you would think, dude, best odds ever, right? 3 out of 4 years, those nests failed. This is the first year after 4 years that they had 2 chicks, which I think about that in the wild with all the predators and all the things that can go wrong. They got a tough job. They really do.
No doubt. Well, guys, appreciate you tuning in to another episode of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor Podcast. Chris, we got a koozie on your way, probably tomorrow or the day after. And appreciate the questions, guys. Remember, every week we're going to do this probably the day of or the day before. If you look for us on Instagram or the other socials, primarily Instagram, I'm going to put something up that just prompts you guys to drop a question. And the question we pick, we're going to get you guys obviously a shout out on the show, and then some free merch. So
yeah, tag us if you. I mean,
yeah, that's the other thing. When you get it, tag us.
Yeah, man, show it off.
Yep. Appreciate you guys. It's One Hell of a Life, and we'll be at again, if you didn't hear it earlier, we're going to be at the Ducks Unlimited Expo here in August 1st weekend. So if you see us, say hi, and we'll do the same for y'all, and we're excited to connect. So it's One Hell of a Life.
Let's go.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.